Hi there everybody and welcome along to the Big Quiz Night here, and this is episode 83. Hope you're all doing well. Nice to see a lot of my usuals in the comments already. And yeah, I'll be reading out some of your messages in just a moment. The usual rundown for today, we've got the 4 quiz rounds you can see down the right hand side there. And we've also got Abby coming in just a moment to kick the show off with the first question of the evening. Hope you're all doing well, and let's get to some of the comments before we kick in. So hello to Diva. Hi to Sue and the Donuts. Hi to Chris there, saying hi from Stormy Blackpool. Hope you were both well there. Who says this? Oh, Jan says, good evening, everyone. For once I made it on time. Welcome, mate. Welcome along. How are things over in Poland? You good? Gabby says, I've got my donuts from the Abingdon Fair and now I'm ready to quiz. Me and Chris have settled on Pinky and the Brain as our team name this evening. Pinky and the Brain's quality team name for a duo. I like it. I used to love that cartoon. Yes, hi to Eric as well. Ju says good evening. I know Vernier's here and Pete as well was there early on. So all the Brazilians have assembled. That's great. Who else have we got here in the chat then just before I call Abby in? Anyway, it's Catherine and Tony. Hope you guys are both well. Mark was there in the comments earlier as well. The latest addition to the Patreon gang. So I hope you're doing well too. And yes, I think we're good to go. So I'm going to get hold of Abby. I'm going to bring her in. She's busy finishing off her birthday invitations because next week will be her birthday. So she's making invitations. So I'm sure we'll talk about that a bit more in just a moment. Here's her intro and her question is on the way. There we go. Here's Abby, everybody.
Hi.
Right, so Abby's got a question for everybody. Now, for those of you who don't know, what you need to do for this one is write the A, B, or C, the answer, in the comments, and the closest or first person to get it right will get themselves bonus points they can use throughout the evening. Yes. So let's bring your question up. Abby's going to ask it for everybody, and then we will see who gets it right. So yes, you need to make sure that you put the answer to this one in the comments. Okay, so let's bring the question up. Where is it? Why is it not coming up? That's a bit silly, isn't it? It's there. I don't know why it's coming up.
Where is it?
Why is it not coming on? There we go. There it is. Okay, there you go. You can read the question now.
Which of the following is the closest to extinction? Is it A, a snowy owl, B, a snow fox, or C, a snow leopard?
More clear your throat. Yeah, say it one more time then. Let's see. A, B, or C in the comments, guys.
Which of the following is closest to extinction? Is it A, a snowy owl, B, a snow fox, or C, a snow leopard?
Now let's have a look in the comments. I think an awful lot of people are going for the same answer. So let's see. We've got Catherine, Sue, Eric, Junior, Mark, Jan, Diva, Luke. You've all gone with C. We've got Chris and Vernia going with A. So let's reveal the answer then, shall we? Can you tell them what the answer is?
The answer is A.
Hey, and there's
Just
a little
kidding,
picture.
it's C.
It's a C. Look, I'll put a picture in there as well. Look.
I like that.
It is the snow leopard. Yeah, beautiful picture there.
Just to let you know, I thought of this question.
You did. You did.
And most of the snow animals are my favourite because I just find them so cute.
They are. It's very sad that that one's near extinction, though, isn't it? Yeah.
I love snow foxes.
You snow fox as well. Well, maybe we'll do some more snowy animal questions in another quiz, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, say goodbye to everybody then.
Bye.
And we'll see Abby next week.
And
All being well.
Tuesday is a special Tuesday.
Yeah, because
the day after is my birthday.
I was just telling them that. Yeah, okay, we'll do a special question then for next week, won't we?
Special.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Up you get them. I've got to crack on.
Bye.
Thank you for helping there, Abby. Right, so let's just... Oh, we didn't say who got it right, but the first one to get it right... Abby, do you want to quickly come around and just tell everybody the first one to get it right? We're so excited about your birthday. Here's the first one. Let's just do this one. Read this name here.
Catherine.
Catherine, you were the first person to put C in the comments, so you get the bonus point. Sorry we didn't call that out sooner, but yes, Catherine got it right the fastest.
Sorry.
Well done. You get the bonus point. You can use that.
Kicked me off the show too early.
You get the bonus point. You can use it on any quiz round for the first 3 at least. Okay. Good stuff. All right. There we go.
Now, bye-bye.
Now, bye-bye. Yes. So everybody's saying good night and goodbye. Great question,
Goodbye.
Diva says. Brilliant. Okay. Bye, darling. Bye.
Off my face.
Come on. All right, everybody. Thank you for that. Well done to Catherine and Tony for getting the question right first. The bonus point, we'll just let Abby get out of here. And we'll move on to our quiz round number 1, the official first quiz round, which is the 90s TV quiz round. So, also, the other thing I've done then is to have, let me just adjust things here. I have also introduced picture rounds through the quiz rounds, as some of the regulars will know. We have something else on screen across that top gap that you can see there. This evening, I have brought back dingbats. Okay, so let me just bring that in for you. So for each of the 3 quiz rounds we go through to begin with this evening, 90s TV, our mystery year round, which is making a comeback, and our geography round, you're going to get 3 dingbats on each one. So you get 1 point for each, something for you to look at and work out whilst I'm going through the main quiz round. So, yes, let me just address a few comments here that have come in as that was all happening. So let's have a look. My wife's in the chat and she says, Christopher, your voice is very deep. Yeah, I've not got any effects on. That's just how I sound, I guess. Can't do much about that. And then let me see what else we've got here. Jan says, congratulations, Catherine, although on my screen I was first, so I'm stealing your point. Fair enough. I'm just glad you could be here on time this evening, given the my screen said I was first too, says Sue. Okay. Well, it's Quizmaster's screen is the one that counts, I'm afraid, because that's obviously the one I have to go by. And Catherine's was definitely first. But very well done anyway to everybody that got it right. I think that was a bit of an easier question than we normally do. So we might have to make it a bit trickier next week for her birthday. Let's see. But yes, well done again to Catherine. So, 90s quizzes round number 1, 90s TV specifically. So 15 questions. These ones, you keep them to yourself. When I go through the answers at the end, you could also just before that ask for any repeats of questions if you need me to repeat anything as usual. And we'll see how you go. You can then put your team scores in the comments at the end and I'll give you all a shout out if you do. Yeah. Catherine says, oops. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. You got the points, really. Doesn't matter. So here we go then with the 90s TV quiz round. So don't put the answers in the comments anymore. Question number 1. Which 90s lead TV character worked for the law firm called Cage and Fish? Which 90s lead TV character worked for the law firm called Cage and Fish? That is question number 1. And the geography quiz round later on this evening was chosen by Mark, actually. It's our Patreon quiz for the evening. A reminder to everybody that if you do join my Patreon at any tier, for your first month, you get to pick the quiz rounds or a quiz round. That's absolutely fine. And then if you're at a mid or a higher tier, which I'll talk about a bit more later, you can have more than that. But for the lower tier, you just get one for your first month. So we look forward to bringing you that in a moment. Question number 2. What was the name of Mr. Bean's teddy bear? What was the name of Mr. Bean's teddy bear? Question number 3 now. Question number 3. What were the 5 different surnames of the 6 main characters in Friends? What were the 5 different surnames of the 6 main characters in Friends? Okay, that's question number 3. And yes, it's for 5 points. In fact, there's another 5-pointer coming up a little bit later on in the quiz round as well. Question number 4. Eddie Hitler and Richie Richard were the main characters in which TV series? Eddie Hitler and Richie Richard were the main characters in which 90s TV series? I'm very glad I'm even able to bring you the show this evening. I did message Patreons last night when the big Facebook crash happened, and it was down for about 6 hours, wasn't it? And I thought, what on earth am I going to do? Because the only people I can contact that follow the quiz page would be those who are Patreons if Facebook's completely down. And it was. Yes, bit of a panic, but thankfully things are back online. Question 5. Which popular TV series featured William Shatner as the big giant head? Which popular TV series featured William Shatner as the big giant head? Yeah, I did suggest that maybe I'd do just a TikTok live, or maybe I'd create or do a Patreon only quiz night, because again I couldn't message anybody else. But it's also got me thinking, should we have a backup platform for everybody, so that I can contact all the regulars out, those who even aren't on Patreon, just to say what the backup plan is when things like that happen. I don't know. Maybe it's just I'll have a night off, as Catherine suggested I should do. But still, I don't know. I like to think of these things. Jan says productivity in the US increased by 400% once Facebook was down. I think it was more than just the US. Also, Twitter had the most amount of users active at any one time in its history whilst Facebook was down, which is also interesting. Yeah, which also reminds me, you should follow Big Quiz Night In on Twitter, just so that if Facebook ever went down again, there's a place I could message you. So yeah, bear that in mind if you use that at all. Question number 6 now. This is the other 5-pointer I mentioned. Who are the 5 main female stars of Absolutely Fabulous? 1 point for each. Who were the 5 main female stars of Absolutely Fabulous? I was just checking my answer sheet for the dingbats, and I realised that for this one, I'm effectively using the second set of dingbats. So I hope that means the first set of dingbats are on the next round, or maybe the round after that, and I haven't used the same ones twice. We'll find out, I guess. It was all fine earlier. But still, the important thing is those are your dingbats for this round, and obviously I've got the answers, so let's see how you go with them. I think the third one in particular is very clever. So yeah, see what you make of it. Right, question number 7 now. Question 7. The gritty teenage drama Heartbreak High was set in which major city? The gritty teenage drama Heartbreak High was set in which major city? I'm not sure how gritty it was. I never watched it, but I can't imagine it was that gritty. If I remember what I do know of it correctly. What do you think? Did you watch it? But which major city was it set in for 1 point? Okay, question number 8 then. Question 8. Which actors played Clark and Lois in The New Adventures of Superman? Which actors played Clark and Lois in The New Adventures of Superman? I loved that show. Loved that when I was a kid. Brilliant. 1 point for each. Who played Clark and Lois in The New Adventures of Superman? Okay, going on to question number 9. What were the names of Will's 3 main cousins who he lived with in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? What were the names of Will's 3 main cousins who he lived with in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air 1 point for each. Again, another brilliant show with an iconic theme song. Sometimes when I was DJing, I'd get asked to play that, and the only version I had and ever had was the extended version of it that has a second verse that you don't know and don't hear in the intro of the show. So every time I played it and it got to that bit, everybody knew all the words, and then that verse kicked in, nobody knew it, and they were all like, totally foxed them completely. Yeah, because nobody really listens to the whole of the song. It's just the theme song you listen to, but it's always good fun. It's a good song. Question 10 now. Question number 10 is for 2 points. In the 90s, which two men were the hosts of the Crystal Maze? Which two men were the hosts of the Crystal Maze? 1 point for each. There is another one now. There has been specials since it aired in the 90s, but in that time period, who were the two men that hosted the Crystal Maze? Another great show. I was very happy when it made a comeback so I could properly introduce my kids to it, and they love it too, which is very cool. Question 11 now. Question 11. What was the first name of Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman? What was the first name of Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman? I remember that one being on TV, but I don't think I was the demographic for it. So I don't really know much about it myself other than who starred in it. And only that I think I know because of pub quiz knowledge. What was the first name of Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman? That is question 11. Okay, number 12 now. Number 12 is for 2 points. Which two actors had pop chart success after starring in Soldier Soldier? Which two actors had pop chart success after starring in Soldier Soldier? Shall I give you 2 points for that? Yeah, I think I probably should. If you get the full names, then you get 2 points. So 1 point for each. I'm hoping if you remember one, you remember the other, and then it's an easy 2 points. But which two actors had pop chart success after starring in Soldier Soldier? Okay. Question 13 now. What were the Christian names of Roseanne and Dan Connor's 4 children? What were the first names of Roseanne and Dan Connor's 4 children? 1 point for each again. Loads of points in this round, eh? Loads. I will do repeats, of course, at the end of the round. So if I have gone through some of these a bit quick, then you just have to let me know at the end which ones you'd like me to repeat. Question number 14. Dick Van Dyke played Dr. Mark Sloan in which TV series? Dick Van Dyke played Dr. Mark Sloan in which TV series? Jan says loads to score doesn't mean we will get loads of them. No. It's true. They're only easy if you know the answer, as they say. Maybe you'll get some bonus points for the dingbats. And maybe you'll do better in the other rounds. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, question 15. Question 15. Which famous celebrities gave voice to Maggie Simpson, Homer's brother Herb, and Sideshow Bob Terwilliger in The Simpsons? 1 point for each. Which famous celebrities, very, very famous celebrities, gave voice to Maggie Simpson, Homer's brother Herb, and Sideshow Bob Terwilliger in The Simpsons? And the casting, I won't give too much away, but I think the casting for Homer's brother Herb is the kind of person who you kind of wish would have played him if they did, if they ever, and they wouldn't, but if they ever did a live action version of The Simpsons, he'd be a good pick, or would have been a good pick to play him. Maybe he's a bit older now, wouldn't really work, maybe. But great pick nonetheless for the brother. And Sideshow Bob, perfect. Anybody who watches The Simpsons knows that that's perfect casting. Very, very good. Okay, so how many questions do you want repeated? Let me know. Just mention the numbers in the comments and I will repeat them for you. And then we will go through all the answers and see how well you did. Talking of The Simpsons, Jan says, I was surprised who played Meg in Family Guy. Yeah. Yeah, totally. I don't know who you'd expect to voice her, but given the kind of character she is, yeah, I was quite surprised as well, but it works. It does work. I do love it in Family Guy when they take the mickey out of her. They make her to be all the horrible characters in the little kind of dream, not dream sequences, but whenever they tell a funny story away from the actual family, they make out that she's the horrible creature in that story and stuff. And then in the Star Wars specials they did of Family Guy, she's always the weird, horrible creature in it, and the weird aliens. Mark says, drunk most of the 90s. Brilliant. Wow, you had plenty of time to watch TV then, didn't you? Right? No? Or was it drunk in the pub? But he does say that was a hard quiz. Okay, well, we shall see how you go. There's loads of points up for grabs, so hopefully you've got some of them. But yeah, some really good TV there and some naff TV, let's be honest, some of it. But let's see. Let's see how you get on. Nobody wants to repeat then, because I'm going to go through the answers. Last chance. Maybe you just need a little bit of thinking time to write more answers down, but you don't need me to repeat them. Bit tricky to tell. That's the one thing I always say. It's a bit tricky to tell when we do these online quizzes. Okay, Gabby's asked for number 5. Right, so number 5 was which popular TV series featured William Shatner as the big giant head? Only one sure was 4 and 10. Okay. Oh, question 4. That's again another one of my favourites. And number 10, yeah, the Crystal Maze one. Yeah. Okay, well, let's see how you go then. We'll go through the answers then, because I'm not seeing any more repeat requests. So, and don't forget to make sure you've got answers written down for the dingbats, because I will give you those at the end of this too. So, question number 1: which 90s lead TV character worked for the law firm called Cajun Fish? That's Ally McBeal. Question 2: what was the name of Mr. Bean's teddy bear? It was Teddy. The answer was right there all along. Question 3 for 5 points. The 5 different surnames of the 6 main characters and friends were Geller, Bing, Tribbiani, Green, and Buffet. I don't know why I have to look at my notes here with the questions on, because those are the kind of things I just know. But I do. Maybe it's reassurance. Question 4: Eddie Hitler and Richie Richard were the main characters in which TV series? Bottom. Fantastic show, very silly, loved it. Saw them live. I went to the 5th, Bottom Live 5 I went to see. Yeah, I would love to have seen some of the others, but yeah, that's the one I went to. Brilliant. Question number 5 was which popular TV series featured William Shatner as the big giant head? It was Third Rock from the Sun. Third Rock from the Sun. William Shatner apparently going to space soon, going to actual space soon. I forget. I think is it Elon Musk or is it Jeff Bezos? I forget which of the billionaires he's going to space with. But yeah, that might be a question coming up soon. So look into that. Question 6: who were the 5 main female stars of Absolutely Fabulous? Jennifer Saunders, Joanna Lumley, Julia Sawalha, Jane Horrocks, and June Whitfield for 5 points. Oh, Mark says you can have a chat with Scotty. Yeah, bless. Who famously got his ashes. James Doohan got his ashes sent into space, didn't he? Question number 7. The gritty teenage drama Heartbreak High was set in which major city? It was Sydney. It was an Australian show. Question 8. Clark and Lois in The New Adventures of Superman were played by Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher. Jeff Bezos, thank you. Yeah. For Shatner going into space. So the next one was number 9. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Will's 3 main cousins were Carlton, Hillary, and Ashley. You didn't need to get the surname there, but it's Banks, in case you weren't aware. But Carlton, Hillary, and Ashley for 3 points. Question 10. The 2 men that were hosts of the Crystal Maze in the 90s. Richard O'Brien was the original and best, let's be honest. And then Ed Tudor-Pole took over from him. Question 11. What was the first name of Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman? It was Michaela. Question 12. Which 2 actors had pop chart success after starring in Soldier Soldier? Robson Green and Jerome Flynn. Oh, their stage name, I guess, Robson and Jerome, they went by. Either or would be fine, I suppose, for 2 points. Being generous here. Question 13. What were the first names of Roseanne and Dan Connor's 4 children? They were Darlene, DJ, Becky, and Jerry Garcia. Question 14. Dick Van Dyke played Dr. Mark Sloan in which TV series? That was Diagnosis Murder. And question 15. Which famous celebrities gave voice to Maggie Simpson, Homer's brother Herb, and Sideshow Bob Terwilliger in The Simpsons? So Maggie Simpson, who barely said a word, by the way, but that word or 2 was spoken by Elizabeth Taylor. Homer's brother Herb was voiced by Danny DeVito. See what I mean there? He could have played a live-action Homer, I reckon. Would have been quite funny. Sideshow Bob Terwilliger was voiced by Kelsey Grammer, better known as Frasier Crane from, of course, Frasier, and before that, Cheers. Because Frasier was a spin-off from Cheers. I'm sure everybody knows that, but just in case you didn't, that's where that's come from. Same character. So Kelsey Grammer, who's brilliant as Sideshow Bob. So tally up those scores. I will now give you the answers for the 3 dingbats. So dingbat number 1, you can see you've got numbers 1 to 7 there and the letters that spell out Dracula. So the answer is Count Dracula. The next picture then is leftovers. Leftovers, because the word overs is left aligned in that box. So it's on the left side, so it's leftovers. And the third one, you've got several letters there in circles. Those letters could spell out the word going, so it's going round in circles. So Count Dracula, leftovers, and going round in circles. There we go. So you get 1 point for each of those. So add that onto your score and let me know in the comments now how many you got correct. Let's see how you go. Donuts there. Sue says 23 points for the donuts. Very good. Very good. If you want to say how many of the dingbats you got separately, you can do, as some will, that you'll notice. 27 plus 3 for Blackpool Bar Stewards. Great score. Okay, Mark says 11. That's 11 plus 1, 12 in total. Good effort. 24. See, that's more than you thought you knew, so that's pretty good. 24 plus 1 says Diva. 22 for Luke and Jane. Gabby says 22 plus 3 for Pinky and the Brain. Well done. You got all those dingbats there as well. You and the Blackpool Bar Stewards so far, it seems, of those who have listed their scores separately. You're under no pressure to do that. Any more scores, please do let me know in the comments, and we'll be moving on to the next round in just a moment. Millie's in the chat. Sorry, I'm late. It's okay. You're going to have to, at the end of the show, you're going to have to go back to the beginning of it because it'll be posted and watch the first round and see how well you do. But I did wonder where you were. She's only just got back. Okay, that's fine. I'm glad you could be here. That's all that matters. Catherine says they've got 10 plus 2 for the dingbats. So please, can I have the extra point from Abby's quiz? Yes, you can have it. So you've got 11 plus 2. That's fine. Very good effort. 19 for the Brazilians is a great score too. Brilliant. No, Kath, you're maybe last then. Oh, there's no shame here. It doesn't matter who's last. It doesn't matter who's first. We're all just here to have fun. Don't you worry about that. Although it's funny. It's funny to have a bit of banter. I admit it is funny. Okay, let's move on to round number 2 then, which is another mystery year round. We did this a couple of weeks ago. I've now got a new mystery year quiz for you. So let's shift over to round number 2. Okay, and this is where we find out if I've got the right picture in place for you for the dingbats. Ah, no! Okay, I can fix that. I can fix that, don't worry. Hold on. Oh, I see why. Okay, I can give you another one. There we go. There we go. There's your ones for this time. I had to change it over. I know what's happened there. So you might not have one for your next round, but you've got 6 in total. So that's more than I would normally give you anyway. So I hope you don't mind too much. But the mystery year round, by the way, for those who've just joined us, Millie, these are dingbats. In case you don't know what dingbat is, or for anybody else that's watching that doesn't know, probably should have said this sooner as well. It's a cryptic clue for a common phrase. That's it. They're cryptic clues for a common phrase. Okay? So you get 1 point for each of those. I'll reveal them at the end. For that, let me just check which ones that is. Yes, great. So for the mystery year, it's a general knowledge round, but all the trivia comes from a particular year. 2 weeks ago, I think it was, we did the last one. I'll remind you, maybe 3 weeks ago. The one we did was for 2013. The one I'm going to do for you now, therefore, is not 2013. But it is post 2000. So I'm giving you that 20-year bracket still, minus the fact you know it's not 2013. All right, so it's going to be another year, but within the last 20. I think a lot of you will be able to work out the year for this one a lot easier than the last one of 2013. But you do get yourself 5 bonus points if you get it correct. I do think a lot of you are going to get it, though, based on some of the subjects that we go through. So here we go then with this round, your mystery year round. Question number 1. In this year, where did the Briton Tim Peake famously spend 6 months of his life? In this year, where did the Briton Tim Peake famously spend 6 months of his life? That's question number 1. Remember, keep the answers to yourselves. And we will go through them at the end of the round. You can ask me for repeats then as well. In this year, where did the Briton Tim Peake famously spend 6 months of his life? Question number 2. Georgios Panayiotou passed away in this year, but by what name was he better known? Georgios Panayiotou passed away in this year, but by what name was he better known? Question number 3 now. Question 3. Who was officially declared dead in February of this year after being missing for 42 years? Who was officially declared dead in February of this year after being missing for 42 years? Were it not for the fact that it's the 42 years part of that question, it would be a ridiculously impossible question. Some would argue it still is, which is understandable, but 42 years missing and then declared dead in that year. So who was it? Right. Question number 4 now. Question number 4. This is where I think some of you are going to start getting a good idea of what the year is. Okay. So question 4. Which politician ran against Hillary Clinton for the Democratic Party nomination for President of the USA? Which politician ran against Hillary Clinton for the Democratic Party nomination for President of the USA? Question number 5. Question 5 is for 2 points. Which two politicians made it through to the second ballot in the Conservative Party leadership election alongside Theresa May? Which two politicians made it through to the second ballot in the Conservative Party leadership election alongside Theresa May? 1 point for each. Okay, your next question then. Question number 6. Which Eastern European nation won the Eurovision Song Contest in this year with a song called 1944? Which Eastern European nation, for question 6, won the Eurovision Song Contest in this year with a song called 1944? Thought I'd narrow it down by saying which Eastern European nation, at least, because I'll be amazed if anybody knows it based on the fact the song was called 1944. I mean, well done. But yeah, for everybody else, hopefully I've narrowed it down a little bit so you can have a good guess at it, at least, as long as you know some Eastern European countries. Depending on how good your geography is, I guess. Let's see. Which Eastern European nation won the Eurovision Song Contest in this year with a song called 1944? Question number 7. Who lasted longest in their job between the UKIP leader, Diane James, at the time, or the England football manager, Sam Allardyce? Who lasted longest in their job in this year? UKIP leader Diane James or England football manager Sam Allardyce? Question number 8 now. Question 8. Which English daily newspaper closed in May of this year after only a few weeks in print? Which English daily newspaper closed in May of this year after only a few weeks in print? I think some of these questions are really tricky, which is why you get so many bonus points, I think, if you do guess the year correctly. Help boost your score back up. Question number 9. Which area of London was the scene of the biggest burglary in English legal history? It was a safe deposit raid. Which area of London was the scene of the biggest burglary in English legal history? So name the area of London. Okay, so then let's move on. Your next question. Question number 10. Lin-Manuel Miranda brought Hamilton to the world in this year, in the year before, in fact. But in this mystery year, it won how many Tony Awards? So Hamilton was released the year before of this mystery year. Therefore, it was then nominated for Tony Awards in this mystery year. But how many Tony Awards was Hamilton nominated for? Sorry, one. Won how many Tony Awards? I believe that was every category it was nominated in. But how many did it win? Lin-Manuel Miranda brought Hamilton to the world the year before, but in this mystery year, it won how many Tony Awards? It's a brilliant show. I think we watched it on Disney Plus when they first launched it there. Obviously not seen it in person, but Yeah, fantastic show. Really catchy music as well. Very clever lyrics. If you get it exactly right, you get 2 points. Okay. Oh, Juice says I love it. Yeah, it is such a good show. I find myself sometimes on Spotify when I'm working away. I listen to random stuff, and sometimes I'll just be listening to that soundtrack. It's really catchy. Love it. Okay, your next question. Question 11. Who was the first British politician to meet the then President elect Donald Trump? Who was the first British politician to meet the then President elect Donald Trump? Yep, we sing it all. Brilliant. Yep. My favourite ones are the ones the King sings. You'll be back. So funny. I think they're brilliant. And the guy that plays him is the guy that voices Sven in the Frozen movies. Does all the voices for him, I think. Is it Sven? I think it's Sven and Kristoff. Yeah, the same guy, I'm sure. Yeah, it is the same guy. Yeah, he does Sven and Kristoff in the Frozen movies. Is it an MP? Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question, actually, the way it's worded. Um, hmm, not European Parliament, maybe. I think you know where I'm going with that. Yeah. Political figure, shall we say? Political figure. Oh, he's a former politician. Yeah. Not anymore. Obviously, at the time, though. Let's just have a look. Yeah, he was at the time a politician, and that's when these questions are set. So I will leave it at that. This person was a former politician, but it certainly was at the time. Hmm. Yeah, lots of different jobs this guy's had. Okay, question 12. Released in this mystery year was the superhero movie Batman v Superman. But what was the subtitle of it? Released in this year was the superhero movie Batman v Superman, but what was the subtitle for it? So it was Batman v Superman something. What was that something? They got a lot of flack, those DC movies, but I enjoyed them. I had fun with them. And that's all that mattered in my mind. And the Snyder cut of the Justice League movie was infinitely better than the theatrical cut of that movie, which followed on from this one that we're talking about, hence why I mention it. But yeah, I quite liked Batman v Superman. It's good fun. If you like those characters, it helps, I guess. Question 13. Question 13. A year later than Back to the Future 2 predicted, which baseball side famously won the World Series for the first time in over 100 years against the Cleveland Indians in this year? A year later than Back to the Future 2 predicted, which baseball side famously won the World Series, this is baseball, for the first time in 100 years against the Cleveland Indians? Okay, just two more questions left in this round. Question 14. Leicester City won the Premier League in this year, but what were the staggering odds that they would win it at the start of the season? It's quite a famous thing because there was at least one person who put a random bet on at these ridiculous odds and obviously made a lot of money for it. Leicester City won the Premier League in this mystery year, but what were the staggering odds that they would win it at the start of the season? One more question to go in this round. As usual, you can let me know which questions you'd like repeated once I've asked that last question. Okay. Question 15 is for 3 points now. 3 points for question 15. Which veteran singers released the UK chart-topping albums called Black Star, Stranger to Stranger, and 50 in this year? Which veteran singers released the UK chart-topping albums called Black Star, Stranger to Stranger, and 50 in this year? Veteran singers. So let's give you a moment's thinking time. You can let me know now which ones you'd like repeated. Make sure you've got answers there as well for the dingbats. Whilst that's all going on, I will share with you one of my usual links. But do let me know which ones you want repeated, because I will obviously repeat them for you. And then we shall see how well you did. Okay, here we go. Here's the first link I'd like to share with you then. So this link is what you'll find also in the description of every video. It's my Beacons link, and on that is a link to everywhere you can follow me on social media. So my Twitter and Instagram, when Instagram's up as well. And of course my TikTok, which has been growing quite quickly these last few days. Things have really picked up. I'm approaching 3,500. I think I'm at 3,300 and something followers at the moment. And it's just, yeah, it's been going quite quickly recently. It had a bit of a dip before that, but yeah, been really picking up. So if you enjoy the trivia as much as those people do, then why not fill your day with more trivia fun on my TikTok, because it's good fun. It's not just an app for kids, I promise you. Lots of different quiz content I post on there. So yeah, and also everywhere you can support me as well is on that link. Patreon, buymeacoffee.com, all the places where you can support what I do here. All behind that link. So question 4 is a repeat request for Mark. Let's bring that up for you then. Question number 4, which politician ran against Hillary Clinton for the Democratic Party nomination for President of the USA? Which politician ran against Hillary Clinton for the Democratic Party nomination for President of the USA? I'm racking my brains now. There was something funny I heard about something she did during that run. Oh, Pokemon Go. Yes, she referenced Pokemon Go as a way of encouraging people to go to the ballot. She said something like, "Let's Pokemon go to the polls," to the polls, to encourage the Americans to go out and vote. Didn't really go down that well, I don't think, but quite silly and funny, I think. No more repeats have come in. I will be going through the answers in just a moment, so this is your last chance to get a repeat in, and I'll be giving you the answers for the last of these dingbats as well. Basically, what happened with the dingbats is I made these screenshots of a dingbats quiz round, but accidentally I've saved over one of them instead of saving a new version of it, and that's why I've only got the 2 and I haven't got one to go with the geography round now. Which I realised as I created and posted this little one here for you. So, never mind. If that's the only thing that goes wrong this evening, then I'm fine. I'll be happy. Okay, let's go through the answers then for the news quiz of the year and see how many points you got. Make sure you've also made a note of what year you think this all came from. I'm sure some of you will have got it though. Question 1. In this year, where did the Briton Tim Peake famously spend 6 months of his life? It was space. He went to space. Question 2. Georgios Panioutou. A better round, I think, says Mark. Okay, let's find out. Georgios Panioutou passed away this year. He is better known as the name George Michael. It's his real name. Question 3, who was officially declared dead in February of this year after being missing for 42 years? That was Lord Lucan. Question 4, the politician that ran against Hillary Clinton for the Democratic Party nomination of the President of the USA was Bernie Sanders. Question 5, the 2 politicians that made it through to the second ballot for the Tory leadership election alongside Theresa May were Michael Gove and Andrea Leadsom. 1 point for each. Question 6, which Eastern European nation won the Eurovision Song Contest in this year with a song called 1944? It was the Ukraine. They had that song, 1944. Question 7, who lasted longest in their job, the UKIP leader Diane James or the England football manager Sam Allardyce? It was Sam Allardyce, believe it or not. Diane James lasted only 18 days. But yeah, Sam Allardyce lasted a bit longer than that. Not much longer, though. Question 8, which English daily newspaper closed in May of this year, only after a few weeks being in print? It was called The New Day. You're forgiven if you never heard of it, because apparently not a lot of other people did either, because nobody really bought it. In fact, I think I did have a... Yeah, the New Day newspaper released 50 issues before folding. There we go. Didn't last long at all. Question 9, which area of London was the scene of the biggest burglary in English legal history? The safe deposit raid was in Hatton Garden. Question 10, the Tony Awards won by Hamilton from Lin-Manuel Miranda was 11. 2 points if you got that exactly right, okay? Question 11, who was the first British politician to meet the then President-elect Donald Trump? It was Nigel Farage. I'm just going to move on. Question 12, released in this year, was the superhero movie Batman v Superman, but what was the subtitle for it? It was Dawn of Justice. Was it a GB News spin-off? It didn't last as long as GB News, amazingly, did it? Yeah. Again, I try not to get too involved. Other than asking questions about politics, I try not to talk too much about it because I'll get on my soapbox otherwise. And I do that enough in the pub. The pub quiz I host in person, I take the mickey quite a lot, and I shouldn't, but sometimes you just can't help it. So I'm just going to move on because I don't want to annoy people with my political opinions. Question. Move on, Chris, move on. Question 13. A year later than Back to the Future 2 predicted, which baseball side famously won the World Series for the first time in 100 years against the Cleveland Indians? It was the Chicago Cubs. So, yeah, Back to the Future 2, it's shown that the Cubs won the World Series, and they predicted that would happen in 2015. But in reality, it was in 2016, which isn't bad. I mean, it's not quite as good as the way the Simpsons predict stuff randomly in their show, but it's pretty good considering how long they'd gone without the Cubs actually winning. Question 14, Leicester City won the Premier League in this year, but what were the odds that they would at the start of the season? 5,000 to 1. And some people did, and they did win. 5,000 to 1. Question 15, which veteran singers released the UK chart-topping albums called Black Star, Stranger to Stranger, and 50? So Black Star was by David Bowie. Stranger to Stranger was by Paul Simon. And 50 was by Rick Astley. Never going to give you up. Mark, it's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. You can say what you like in the comments. But yeah, I try not to spend too much time on it. Okay, unless it's trivia related, and then it's fine, of course. So let's see how well you did then with that round. Tally up those scores. The dingbat answers were they parted company, because the word they parts the word company. See-through blouse, because the letter C is going through the word blouse. And the last one was pay through the nose. Pay through the nose. We are on your side. Fair play, mate. Fair play. Yeah, pay through the nose, because nose as in more than one no. And the word pay is going through the middle of it. You see? So tally up those scores then. Let's see how well you did. You can say the score plus the score for dingbats like some do, or the combined score. It's up to you. Donuts are coming straight away with 12 points. Good effort. Well done. Let's see. We're going to be moving on to the geography round in just a moment, of course. As those scores come in, we're moving on to geography. And then we have got some Our Survey Says rounds to do as well. 8 plus 5 plus 1, says Steve. Okay. 10 plus 2 equals 12. Well done, Mark. Good score. 6 plus 2 for the Blackpool Bar Stewards. Of course, 8 plus 5, of course, plus 5 if you got the year correct, because it's 2016. I completely forgot to say that when I wanted to. But 2016 is for 5 bonus points. There we go. Get those bonus points on if you put your scores in already and you didn't add those on. 5 points if you guessed 2016 correctly. Oh. Yes, but Blackpool Bar Stewards got the year. Well done. Good. 11 plus 2. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm a bit flustered and distracted tonight. I'm not on my A game, I don't think. Not quite sure why. A bit of a stressy kind of build up to today, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Plus 5 for Mark. Well done. I thought some of you would get the year right. Catherine says 12 plus 2 for the Dingbats. You can tell I'm on my own tonight. Oh, Catherine, I didn't know. I'm glad you are here to join us anyway. That's fine. But yes, 12 plus 2 is a good score still, nonetheless. Who else wants to put their scores in there? And I know there's more of you out there. We'll be moving on to geography, even if I have moved on. Like I always say, if I've moved on to the next round, you can still put your scores in, and I'll give you a shout out as soon as I see the comment flag up in the chat. Let's see if any more coming in. Oh, here's Pinky in the Brain score. 11 plus 5 plus 3 for Pinky in the Brain. Very good. I think that's one of the highest scores there, I think. Yeah. Excellent stuff. Very good. Millie says my score is not was not fit for public announcement, but you probably learned a lot of different things that you didn't know before. That's it. If you get questions wrong, you've just learned something new. Sue says, forgot about the year. We got 17. There you go. Yeah, I thought so. Very good. Good stuff. All right. Well, your next round is going to be geography, and it is the geography round that Mark requested for his Patreon request. So let's flick over to that now. Keep your comments coming in. Okay. So, yeah, the geography round, we're not going to have another picture. So what I'm going to do instead is make the chat a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, so with geography round, 15 questions again, 1 point for each correct answer. We'll fly through this round and then we'll do a quick round of Our Survey Says, depending on how much time we've got left, okay? So here we go. Question number 1, which motorway links the West Midlands and Devon? Which motorway links the West Midlands and Devon? Guess the motorway, please, for question number 1. Which motorway links the West Midlands and Devon? Question number 2, which is the most northerly capital city in Europe? Which is the most northerly capital city in Europe? It's just a 1 point question there. Try and name the city. Question number 3 is also a 1 point question. Bucharest is the capital of which European country? Bucharest is the capital of which European country? That's question 3. Your next question is for 3 points. So, question number 4. Which are the 3 largest islands in the Mediterranean Sea? Which are the 3 largest islands in the Mediterranean Sea? That's question number 4. Question number 5. In which Italian city could you cross the Bridge of Sighs? In which Italian city could you cross the Bridge of Sighs? Right, question number 6 is for another 2 points. The European Parliament sits in which 2 cities? The European Parliament sits in which 2 cities? There's not that many multiple points in this one. Not that many. Question 7. Which nation was once known as Abyssinia? Which nation was once known as Abyssinia? Okay. Try and go through this one a tad bit quicker because I do want to have time with you all to do our survey says questions. But I will still do repeats. Question number 8. Which country's flag has the most colours on it? Which country's flag has the most colours on it? The next question is another 3-pointer. So for question number 9, which 3 countries have both an Atlantic and a Mediterranean coast? Which 3 countries have both an Atlantic and a Mediterranean coast? 1 point for each. Okay. Your next question then is question 10. What is the real name of the Northern Lights? What is the real name of the Northern Lights? Five more questions left in this round. There's some more multiple point questions. Generally, lower scoring round than I would normally do. But let's see how you get on. Question 11. Oranges and lemons say the bells of St. Clement's, but what do the great bells of Bow say? Oranges and lemons say the bells of St. Clement's, but what do the great bells of Bow say? Isn't that a nightclub? I wouldn't know, Mark. I wouldn't know. I'll say question 11 again. Oranges and lemons say the bells of St. Clement's, but what do the great bells of Bow say? Question number 12 then, another 3-pointer for you for question 12. Which 3 rivers are the longest in the world? Which 3 rivers are the longest in the world? Oh, Jan says had a malfunctioning keyboard. Now managed to plug in a different one. 9 points for the first round, plus 2 points for the Dingbats. Second round is again 9 points and 3 for the Dingbats, plus 5 for the year. Very good. Thank you for the update. I did wonder what had gone wrong. You've gone very quiet. It's most unlike you. I'm glad you got it sorted. Thanks for the update. Okay. Question 13 then. Question 13. Which popular British restaurant chain opened its first outlet in the Yorkshire town of Guiseley? I might have said that wrong. Guiseley. Which popular British restaurant chain opened its first outlet in the Yorkshire town of Guiseley? Is that right? Somebody watching will know. That's how it looks like. No, that's right. Thank you, Mark. Guiseley. Okay, which popular British restaurant chain opened their first outlet in that town? It's near Leeds. Okay, all right. Question 14 then. 3 points available for question 14. Which 3 pink properties can you buy on a standard UK Monopoly board? Which 3 pink properties can you buy on a standard UK Monopoly board? It's British. For question 13, yes. Popular British restaurant chain. Yes. Yeah, question 14 again. Name the 3 pink properties you can buy on a standard UK Monopoly board. 1 point for each. And then we've got just one more question, which will be for 3 points again. I just want to make sure I can share with you the charity link that I normally share as well. So I'm just getting that lined up. Okay. Question 15. In which cities in the world can you visit St. Basil's Cathedral, the Spanish Riding School, and the Forbidden City? In which cities in the world can you visit St. Basil's Cathedral, the Spanish Riding School, and the Forbidden City? 1 point for each, and as we are now at the end of that round, let me know if you need anything repeated. We'll say that for you. We'll reveal the answers, and we move on to the Our Survey Says round, and we'll see how well you do. We should have enough time to go through all 3 questions I've got lined up for you. So there's no worries there. If not, we can always save it for next time. It won't go anywhere. Any repeats, let me know. What I'm going to do whilst I wait to see that, though, is in the chat, I will now share the link, which is also in the description, or one of the links like that is also in the description of the video, for Secret Santa 365. They do an awful lot of work across Oxfordshire in particular to help out families in need, people with, or young families and struggling people around the county. Particularly coming out of this pandemic, it's just been very tough on a lot of people. So if anybody wants to do something charitable rather than support me directly, either or is fine, but you can go to their website and donate if you wish. All right, so question 6, a repeat for question 6. The European Parliament sits in which 2 cities? The European Parliament sits in which 2 cities? That is question number 6 for you then, Millie. Any more repeats? Last chance. I'll go through the answers. I'm giving you just a few more seconds to get those answers in. Number 8 for the donuts. Okay, that's just appeared there for me. Number 8. Which country's flag has the most colours on it? Which country's flag has the most colours on it? Oh, Mark says I'm feeling confident. Well, this is your round. You did say you wanted geography. You did say. So let's see how you go. I'm going to go through the answers now. Oh, it says 14, no idea. I'm feeling confident, but 14, no idea. I mean, yeah, Monopoly based questions. I mean, I guess it classes as geography. It's really a leisure kind of question in terms of classic pub quiz subjects, but because it's about places, I guess we can also fit it into geography. But you're forgiven if you're not sure on that one, definitely. Okay, here we go with the answers for our geography round. The motorway for question one that links the West Midlands and Devon is the M5. For question two, the most northerly capital city in Europe is Reykjavik in Iceland. That's just a 1 point question for Reykjavik. I won't mark you down for spelling because I can't see how you spelt it anyway. But it's Reykjavik. Reykjavik. Question three, Bucharest is the capital of which European country? That is Romania. Question four, which are the three largest islands in the Mediterranean Sea? It is Sicily, Sardinia, and Cyprus for 3 points. Question five, which Italian city could you cross the Bridge of Sighs? That is Venice. Question six, the European Parliament sits in which two cities? It is Strasbourg and Brussels. Question seven, which nation was once known as Abyssinia? It is Ethiopia. Question eight, which country's flag has the most colours on it? A country once referred to as the Rainbow Nation. It is South Africa. There is black, gold, green, white, red, and blue on their flag. Question number 9 is for 3 more points. Which 3 countries have both an Atlantic and Mediterranean coast? That is France, Spain, and Morocco. Question 10, what's the real name of the northern lights? It is the Aurora Borealis. Question 11, oranges and lemons say the bells of St. Clement's, but what do the great bells of Bow say? It is, I do not know, save the bells of the great bells of Bow. So I do not know. Which is ironic, because if some of you didn't know the answer, you'd be saying the same thing. Question 12, which 3 rivers are the longest in the world? You did not have to put these in order. The longest rivers in the world are the River Nile, the Amazon, and the Yangtze River. Question 13. The popular British restaurant chain that opened its first outlet in the Yorkshire town of Guiseley was Harry Ramsden's Fish and Chips. Question 14. Here we go with that Monopoly question. The 3 pink properties on the Monopoly board are Pall Mall, Whitehall, and Northumberland Avenue for 3 points. And for a final 3 points in this round, the cities in the world where you could visit St. Basil's Cathedral, the Spanish Riding School, and the Forbidden City. St. Basil's Cathedral is in Moscow. The Spanish Riding School is in Vienna. And the Forbidden City is in Beijing. I think it was on the Patreon quiz night a couple of months back, maybe. I had a picture in there that was the Forbidden City. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was it, or at least a discussion about it. I'm sure it was something about that. But yeah, so tally up those scores as always. Let me know in the comments how well you did, and then we move on to the Our Survey Says round. We'll have some fun with that, no doubt. 3 more questions for you in that, and then we'll see. The answer to number 5 again, Millie, was the Bridge of Sighs is in Venice. Okay, so team scores then. Sue has come in with a donut score with 18 points. Diva's got 17 points. Mark says 19 points. Very good. Well done. You did say you feel confident there. 15 points there for Catherine. Good effort again. Even without Tony, you're doing well in that one. 19 points for Pinky in the Brain. Another good score. 12 points for Jan. Good effort. 12 for Millie. Well done. 17 for the Blackpool Bar Stewards. Yeah, a bit more confident with your scores here on geography. Very good, very good. 12 there for Luke. Well done. Luke and Jane. No more coming anymore. Oh, 16 for us, Brazilians. Thank you there, Vernia. 16 points. Well done. Excellent. Okay, if any more pop up, that's fine. There was something I was going to say before we move on to the Our Survey Says round. Ooh, what was it? I forget. Let's move on anyway. It will come back to me, I think. So let's move on then to the Our Survey Says round. All right, here we go then, guys. The Our Survey Says round. We have got 3 questions here. I'm looking for the top 6 answers from a survey of 100 people. What do you think the top answers were? I'll reveal the question in just a moment. I'm asking, first of all, for 1 answer per team, okay? Just to see who can get the top answer, and then you can guess as many times as you like for the rest of them, all right? So for now, though, just put in 1 guess per team. Your question for this round is, name a band that shares its name with an insect. Let's see how you go with this one then. Everybody put in the comments 1 guess to begin with, and then I'll tell you when I'd like to see more of the guesses coming in. Let's see what you think, and I'll reveal the answers as they are guessed. And I have a feeling at least the top answer most of you are going to get. Let's see how you do. Okay, lots of guesses coming in for the Beatles. We've got Jan coming in with the Scorpions. Eric says Adam and the Ants. Excellent. Okay, so that's good. That is good. Let's see then. So, Eric, you said Adam and the Ants. Let's see where that comes in. Adam and the Ants, is it there? It is the second answer, not the top answer. Not the top answer. Okay, let's see what other ones we've got in, because I think we all know the top answer is going to be pretty obvious for most of us. Jan says the Scorpions. That's another good shout. The Scorpions is the 3rd highest answer. Well done there. I think most other people have gone with the Beatles, so I'll put you out of your misery now and say that yes, well done. The Beatles is the top answer for this one. Well done there. Jan has also come in with Alien Ant Farm. Alien Ant Farm, that's a great shout, and it is there. It is there. That's the 4th answer. I wondered if anybody would get that one. I'm glad you're here. There's another one which you might know as well. If you like that, you might get one of the other ones. Let's see what other guesses we've got. Jane says McFly. Interesting guess. But it's not there. No McFly. Guess as many times as you like now. Let's see who can get the remaining 2 answers. I'll give you a little bit longer on this one before I reveal them. Buddy Holly and the Crickets, says Sue, and the Donuts team. Is Buddy Holly and the Crickets there? It is. Yes, the Crickets are there, with or without Buddy Holly's fine, for 6. Polish band Wolf Spider. I've heard of them, actually. I don't know any of their songs, but I have heard of them. It's not there, though. What else have we got? The Locusts, says Mark. Not there. Gabby has gone in with Papa Roach. Papa Roach, is Papa Roach there? Yes, that is the remaining answer. Well done. Some more points there for you. Very well done there. You got Papa Roach, the missing answer from our top 6 for that question. Mark says the Animals, no. White Snake, no. No, it's not there either, I'm afraid. Just for funsies, I'll give you the X there. Let's move on to the next question then, shall we? Let's reset the board. And we move on to your next question. Okay. Question number 2 then in our survey says round is, name something that you fill with air. 1 guess per team again, please, on this one. Just like the last one, 1 guess per team. We'll see who gets all the top answers or the highest answers correct, and then we'll get the we'll open the floor for everybody to throw in their guesses again. Balloon from Jan and Sue, and quite a few others now are saying that. Eric, Millie, Vernia says that. Lots of them coming in now. That's good. Balloon, balloon, balloon. Lungs, says Mark as well. Balloon, balloon, balloon. Okay, well, let's go with lungs since Mark has said that one separately. So, lungs, is it there? It's the third answer. Do we have any other different guesses? Because a lot of others have just gone with balloon. Let's see. No, I'm going to say, okay, you've all had one guess now. Oh, Jan's gone with oxygen tank. Is an oxygen tank there? No. We're only looking for the top five this time, and oxygen tank is not one of them. Balloon, though, is what everybody else went with, and that is the top answer. So now you can start putting in your other guesses again. Let's see if we can work out what the remaining answers were. A hot air balloon is a guess there from Mark. Hot air balloon? Not there. The Donuts and Gabby and Britzillians and Eric have all gone in with a tyre this time. There's the second answer. Well done. You've got a tyre there, or a car tyre is fine. Football is a guess I've just seen there. Millie's gone with a football. Let's have a look and see if football is there. Ball. Oh, we'll give you that. Yeah, ball is there. A bouncy castle. Interesting guess. Bouncy castle. Is that the last answer? No. No, I'm afraid it's not there. Matter race. Do you mean a mattress, Jan? A Lilo, says Mark, an airbed, says Vernia. All right, I'm going to reveal answer 5 then, because yeah, it's essentially that, an airbed. So yes, a inflatable mattress or a Lilo, I would still give you the points for, or an airbed is exactly the answer. No problem, Jan. I knew what you meant. That's fine. So we had some other interesting guesses there, though, didn't we? Because we had rubber ring. Clearly not one of our top 5, unfortunately. And the same for swimming armbands. Not there. But again, collectively, you got that top 5 very quickly. Well done. All right. Let's move on to the last question then of the evening. Third question then in the R survey says round. We'll reset the board. I must remember to do that. Otherwise, it will show all the answers when we move on to the next page. And we don't want to spoil it for you. Okay. 7 answers to play for this time. 7, right? The question is, we surveyed 100 people and asked them to name a Queen song with a 2-word title. Love this question, mainly because I think Queen are brilliant. Or were brilliant, bless them. I suppose they're still technically a band, but, you know, when Freddie was alive, loved their music. One guess per team again, please. Let's see what you think. A Queen song with a 2-word title. Mark's in there with Killer Queen. Eric says Bicycle Race. Millie's in with Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody for the Donuts. I'll just wait for as many people to have one guess as I can before I reveal the answers. I'll start revealing them. Oh, excuse me. Good. Lots of good guesses coming in now. Okay. Excellent. Right. So, Killer Queen was a guess I saw there. Let's go back up. Killer Queen came in from Mark first. So, let's reveal if that is one of the top 7. Yes, but it is the 5th answer. Bicycle Race. Bicycle Race has been mentioned by a few of you. That is number 4. Getting a bit better there. So Eric was first in with Bicycle Race. We then got several of you going with Bohemian Rhapsody. Gabby also said Killer Queen. Jan's gone with Radio Gaga. Is Radio Gaga there? It is. Now, that's interesting, though, because Gaga is technically 2 separate words, but it being a survey, and clearly some people would say Radio Gaga because Gaga could be 1 word. It's technically, it was released with Gaga as 2 separate words, but it is still there from the survey. So well done, you got it. And Mark also says Radio Gaga. And Flash I wish I had an excuse to put that in here, but it's really not one of the answers. Brilliant, though. It's one of my favourite films for lots of silly reasons. I love it. Bohemian Rhapsody is clearly, yes, it is the top answer. Massively popular song, and that is number 1. So well done to everybody that put that. Let's keep the guesses coming in then. I will go back through and just see if any others were guessed that I've missed. There are 3 more to find. Radio Gaga, Killer Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, Under Pressure. There we go. Under Pressure. Where does that sit in our list of top 7? It is the second most popular answer. Well done, Jan, and to Sue as well. Mark says Fat Bottom Girls. That is definitely 3 words, and it was not one of our top answers. Keep those guesses coming in. Can you think of any more? You're missing the 3rd and the 6th one. I would say the 3rd one is quite a popular song. The 6th one is a very good song, but it's not as well known, I don't think, as the others. So you'll be forgiven if you don't. Excuse me, if you don't get it right. Just needed to say it, Mark says. Hot Space, Ian says. It's not there. I'll give you another minute, I think, thinking time if you need it to work these out. Let's see. Vernia's come in. Well, final countdown, Millie says. Oh, it's a good guess, but it's not a Queen song, I'm afraid. That was Europe. Great song, though. Love that song. Classic. Sheer Heart Attack, says Mark. Good guess. Unfortunately, no. It's not there. Vernia says One Vision. Is One Vision there? That's the 3rd answer. Well done. Very good. Okay, number 6 then is the last one. Yeah, this is probably the one that I thought that you would struggle with. We Will Rock You, or We Will in brackets, then Rock You as the 2 words. Clever. No, not there. See what you did there, but unfortunately it's not correct. Last few seconds then to work out what number 6 is. Can you think of any more 2-word Queen songs? It's quite tricky. There's actually a whole load more than this. I looked them up to see if there was any that were missed from this survey, any obvious omissions. There's not. I'd say these are all the most popular ones, but there are so many other, album tracks, songs that never really got released other than being at the back end of an album. And yeah, all right, I'm going to put you all out of your misery now because we've gone over time. So, number 6 from our answers here, our survey said, Save Me. Mark's coming late there with 7 Seas. I think that is definitely 7 Seas of Rye, isn't it? That's released as. But Save Me, big song, actually. Not as big as those other ones there, but it's still a big song. That was the last one. Nope. Yeah, there we go. So, guys, that brings us to the end of another quiz. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you all for attending. It's been great as always. Nice to see Jan. You managed to join us on time this evening as well. Good little turnout again. I will be back next week. I have already hinted, thinking way ahead. I've already been hinting to the Patreons my plan for the Christmas period. So be excited for December because there's some different things are going to be planned for everybody, not just Patreons, everybody. We're gonna have a lot of fun over the Christmas period, the whole of December really. But it's going to be good. But until then, we've got plenty of quizzes to go. Keep spreading the word. Do share what I do with your friends and family, especially as the nights are drawing in. It'd be great to get some more people here getting involved and having a laugh with us all here at the Big Quiz Night In. So do spread the word. Jan says, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for the quiz. We'll do my best to be next time as well. Yeah, as long as you guys are all, yes, exactly as you said, staying safe, staying healthy, and stay happy. And yeah, all that good stuff. That's all we can ask. But I really appreciate you joining in and take care, everybody. I think that's about it. Use the link in the descriptions that I share as always to find me all across social media and to give us a bit of support. That will be appreciated, but really just being here and having fun is the important thing. So take care, stay safe, and I will, as always, see you same time next time for more of the same fun. Cheers.